Alright, what is up, guys? We are back for a very special late night Zoids review. There is no sunlight, there is no natural lighting, there's only the lights in the studio. So I'm trying something a little bit different with the lighting this time around. I've got a new ring light and the old one as well, so I'm kind of trying a slightly different setup. So let me know what you guys think about that. I think it looks pretty good, even though it does accentuate the dust on our subject today, and that would be the Brastle Tiger. So I've teased this one for quite a bit. I got it much earlier this year, and I've been waiting to do this review for a while. I kind of spaced out the Three Tigers reviews quite a bit to make sure there was a decent gap in between, so I didn't do them all in one go and kind of, blow my load too quickly on those. But I've been very excited about it because all three of the Three Tigers Zoids are just incredibly awesome, some of my absolute favorites, and also some of the most powerful in terms of lore. So let's go ahead and talk about the Brastle Tiger in terms of lore. So in terms of the battle story, the Brastle Tiger, again, following the Three Tiger story, the same thing as the Race Tiger and the Wits Tiger, was part of the conflict that happens much, much later in the canon of the Zoid story, like way later into the future, in like year 2200 by the continuity of the battle story. And at this timeline, we have the rivalry between Zoitek, who developed the Race Tiger and the Wits Tiger, and Z-Arms, who developed the Brastle Tiger and the Takara Dragon. And they had three ancient Zoid cores from three ancient legendary tiger Zoids that they essentially resurrected and reconstructed into these forms that you see here. So the Brastle Tiger, of course, was extremely powerful, and it has this ability to kind of suck up heat from its environment and channel that into its weapons. So it has these pinpoint laser cannons up here that when the Zoid absorbs heat, it shoots out from these arrays right here, and those kind of fall to the ground and home in on enemy targets, and they're actually quite effective at doing that. We'll kind of talk more about that when we talk about its use in the video game, as well as all the cool little features that the model kit has here. I think this whole rack kind of swings forward like that. Yes, it does. Incredibly fast, incredibly agile. It also comes equipped with blades, which is an all-around, extremely powerful Zoid. It was originally the rival to the Race Tiger until Z-Arm's true plan was revealed, that they were trying to recreate the Death Soarer, because that seems to be the plot of like every single Zoid story is, oh, let's bring back the Death Soarer. They did bring back the Death Soarer. They made the Mega Soarer, which you guys should be familiar with from the Zoids Versus trilogy. And so the Brastle Tiger had to team up with the Race Tiger and the Wits Tiger to defeat the Megasaur. The Takara Dragon was destroyed in the process, but I don't have a Takara Dragon kit to talk about, so we won't go there. That's it for the battle story. In Zoids Versus 3, this was, again, used by Z-Arms as well for basically the same purpose, and you don't see this guy in combat until towards the end of the campaign. And you, playing as Arrow, who has the Race Tiger, you go up against this thing, I think twice before the end of the game, once in sort of a close encounter, and then once in the final battle, where you have to fight this, the Takara Dragon, and the Megasaur all at the exact same time in the final boss fight, which is a tremendous and really, really cool fight. This Zoid also does appear in the Genesis anime, so I haven't really talked about the Zoid's Genesis anime at all, except for the little bit I talked about with that little Murasame Liger quick kit that I have. I don't have any other Genesis kits. Oh, I have that Hayate Liger Aggressive Series articulated figure. But I don't know a whole lot about Genesis, unfortunately, but I will talk more about it in future videos and really kind of get into what it's about. But one of the main things with a big plot point in Genesis was the fact that the Biozoids have this thing called Hell Armor, and regular weapons cannot penetrate it, and so you have to have like a weapon that's made out of some kind of rare earth metal or something like that, which the blade on the Murasame Liger and all of its evolutions happen to have. But ironically enough, the Brastle Tiger that we see here, again, was featured in Genesis, was able to damage and destroy Biozoids using its regular weapons, which kind of goes to show how powerful this thing was. This thing led an army of Zaberfangs in that anime, which is funny considering the triple barrel shock cannon down here is literally the exact same piece as what's on a Saber Tiger model kit. To actually get into the model kit itself, because it's the perfect segue away from the anime, is that there are two different versions of this kit. This is the actual Fusers era one that came out in Japan in 2004. Was never localized on the Hasbro line at all. And this goes on record as the very last Zoids kit to be released under the anime era, the Zoids 1999, the NJR era. So it was the very, very last kit released before we moved into the late Fusers era, Genesis era, which is sort of a different product line, so to speak. This kit right here, again, is exactly the way it is featured right here. It does have the two slots up here for the blocks kits to customize with it, so you can attach a Fuser companion to this thing if there's an appropriate weapon like the laser nest from the Race Tiger you wish to equip to it or something like that. You can do that, but other than the fact that it has some of the design sensibilities of those Fusers era kits, I think it's actually a lot cooler, and I actually like this guy as a model kit more than the Race Tiger and the Wits Tiger, and that's only because of the amount of features it has, the amount of moving parts that it has. But before I get to that, there was one more version of this kit that was released, and that was the Genesis version, which was primarily in silver and black, which also looks equally as cool as this one does. And it's pretty hard to find, but if you can get your hands on it, it's pretty awesome. But onto the model kit itself here. So I really love the way this thing looks. It has such a cool color scheme. It looks so fearsome. I mean, Zoids obviously is known for having a ton of Tiger-type Zoids, but just the head sculpt on it and the translucent eyes, the way they are, the massive fangs, like it just looks absolutely incredible. And much like the Race Tiger, it's a very simple, very slimmed down, very minimalistic design, which I think goes a long way to characterize this thing. But one of the things that is just so understated about it, but is also so cool about it, is the way the weapons are formatted. So, of course, I mentioned it has the triple barrel shot cannon down here. This is actually like a super shot cannon, like it's not your standard one at all. And it might actually be a little bit of remolding done. I think the barrels actually have some rifling in there. You can kind of see that may be redone. I'll have to get an actual Saber Tiger to side-by-side compare it with to see if it's a different piece. But it looks to be the exact same piece as what's on the Saber Tiger. In addition to that, of course, the cockpit lifts up right here, which has a very nice, well-molded seat in there. No Android pilot, unfortunately. And then let's talk about the weapons. So we've got to be very careful with this because there's two hinge pieces down here, one of which did exactly what I was afraid of and popped off. That might be something worthwhile using glue on, but yeah, there's two hinges under there. You can see it on the camera pretty well, and they like to pop off pretty easily. There we go. So this whole assembly kind of flips forward like that, and the laser pinpoint lasers flip out like that. And so that is a weapon, like I said, that absorbs heat and shoots the projectiles up into the air, and they fall back down in a homing pattern on their targets. Then we also have these front-facing cannons right here, which are pinpoint lasers that shoot forward, which again are very powerful, and your primary damage dealer in Zoids vs. 3, the game. And there should be another set on the back like this. In the opening preview video for Zoids vs. 3, the little opening cinematic, you see the Brastle Tiger deploy all of these things, suck up heat, and then just shoot out an energy blast from everywhere, which is pretty cool. That's what everything looks like fully deployed out, and just the fact that this thing has so many... Oh, forgot one. The fact this thing has so many moving parts like this, to me, in terms of functionality and design, really does kind of set it apart from the Race Tiger and Wits Tiger as a model kit. But in terms of story significance, I do prefer the Race Tiger a little bit more, and I prefer the way the Race Tiger plays in Zoids vs. 3. The Race Tiger is a lot more bulky than this thing is in Zoids vs. 3. The Race Tiger has 3,100 health, whereas this thing only has 2,700. But the one thing that this Zoid does have that the Race Tiger does not and cannot have is blades. So the brass style blades, which is a little panel that folds out like that, and you get a little blade off to the side like that. So I'll close some of this other stuff up so we can see that up close. Not a very big and intimidating blade on the model kit. Very small and unassuming. Doesn't look too intimidating, but it gets the job done. And in terms of the lore, obviously blades are insanely powerful, and I do like how subtle they are when they're all tucked away like that. That part is pretty cool, at least. So it is cool this thing gets to have blades, and they're not huge and obnoxious like they otherwise could be. So just from a design standpoint, how everything just kind of folds away and becomes so compact that whenever you fold everything out, it just becomes big and fearsome and has this enormous, just very threatening silhouette to it. I think is really cool. This thing is one of the most powerful Zoids in Zoids Versus 3. It's up there with the Race Tiger and like the Liger Zero Phoenix and the Energy Liger, and it costs enough money to warrant that. It costs like 200,000 credits or something like that, one of the most expensive Zoids in the game, and you would expect that to be the case considering that you fight it close to the final boss and the storyline significance that it does have. So I don't have the stand that this guy goes on, much like the Race Tiger, which I already showed off. This Zoid has a stand that goes with it. I don't have the manual or the box either, so we won't get to show that off. Let me do a quick size comparison with a Saber Tiger, and we'll go ahead and move on. Alright, so here it is, side by side with a Hasbro Saber Tiger, or Zaberfang, as it's known. And aside from that cannon, they don't share any parts. But yeah, that... Actually, there's something wrong with its legs. I gotta go in there and modify that. But yeah, this is actually the exact same piece. And God, that yellow is just absolutely eye-searing with this lighting. This yellow is so ugly. This is actually the second one I have. I've already done a review of my own personal one. This one came from Brad's collection. I think he got it at a flea market with some other ones and decided to trade it to me because he was just trying to downsize a little bit. And so this is one of the ones I got off of him. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I may do a custom paint job with it. Maybe I'll color it to look a little bit like the Brastle Tiger here, because the Brastle Tiger has a very similar color scheme to the Great Saber or the Shoebolt Special version. So maybe we'll color this guy to look like that. It's missing a few of its weapons as well, but yeah, as you can see, size comparison, they're about the same height in terms of their back, but the Brastle Tiger has that nice sort of scaled down head that's a lot more proportional to the body than a lot of the classic Zoids have. So it does look really good. Again, the legs are very thick and very bulky and very just fierce looking. But yeah, this triple barrel shot cannon down here is literally the exact same piece on the two model kits, even though canonically this is like a super laser weapon on the Brastle Tiger and is a lot more powerful than on your standard Saber Tiger shot cannon. So, all right. That is going to do it for this review, though, guys. So we finally have completed the Three Tigers trilogy, and I'm very excited about that. Hopefully we can get around to doing some more Zoids Versus 3 content so you guys can see this guy in action again. But if you want to, you can always go back and watch the original Let's Play. It's still on the channel. I think it still holds up pretty well, although I definitely misspeak on a lot of lore-related information because I'm mostly paraphrasing it. So in terms of actual lore knowledge, I'm much better spoken nowadays than I was 5 years ago when I first did that. But it still holds up for the most part. And in addition to that, hopefully we'll get around to doing some more Genesis content eventually. So next review is the HMM Liger Zero Panzer. So I will see you guys next time. Do you guys miss the gaming content I used to do on this channel? Did you guys know this is actually my second channel? My wife Michelle and I over on the primary Star-Crossed Souls channel do gaming content as well as content about conventions and cosplay and some of the niche fandoms we're into such as Fire Emblem, Fate, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm also doing a retrospective series on the entire Type Moon series and all of the Fate works. It's a series I'm very proud of and has the highest amount of editing and production quality in anything I've ever done in my entire career of making videos. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, make sure to follow us on the main Star-Crossed Souls channel and follow Michelle and I on Instagram for her art projects and my cosplay projects. I'll see you guys next time.